A very quick one, my people. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where you are. Happy New Day and Happy Wednesday. Don't forget, today is the 18th day in the month of June in the year of 2025. Today, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu trials continues at the DSS headquarters. But behind the trial that is commencing today, a lawyer EJIMAKOR, who is the special counsel to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, have a very exposition. In fact, this exposition have made the world to stand still, even including United Nations. They have zipped up their mouth, including those who claims that they are the oppressors of Biafrans and oppressors of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. All of them don't stand still because of one person, Nnamdi Kanu. I would not like to take much of your time. I would like you to watch this clip, and then we'll come back for more discussion. As you're watching, don't forget, you need to drop your opinion at the comment section. One person. It is not a laughing matter, but I can tell you for free of charge, Nnamdi Kanu must be set free today. The world is standstill. Maybe he is another Messiah the world has been expecting all these years. Let us go there. There's no time to take time. Now me, the king of update, Ukulora one nation. I had a hebo, only me. Oh yeah, let's go there, please. I don't want to talk too much.
Let me observe the basic protocols by acknowledging the ambassadors for self-determination, the coalition of Biafran sons and daughters, the friends of Biafra gathered here today at the Washington Press Club, Washington, D.C., United States. I'm highly honored to be called upon to address you on the very important agenda of the day. But before I do that, let me thank the ambassadors for self-determination, the organizers of the event. My profound thanks to the two men behind this powerful organization, the two brothers. I call them the A-team, the Wankwo brothers, Ben and Evan. I thank you so much for bringing this event to fruition. Well, let me begin by saying this. Ben and Evans have been at the front line of propagating the cause for self-determination, defending human rights in Nigeria, and calling for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, who is the subject matter of this very event today. Of course, the other subject matters, such as the right to self-determination and the persecution that is being levied against Christians in Nigeria in this current era. Ben and Evans, I thank you, and I thank all those who are behind you, seen and unseen, and your professional crew and all that, and so many other people that I really do not want to mention here. So having said that, I would not burden you with slogans or sloganeering. I will not tell you what you know already. I will tell you what you don't know. Or what you know but you don't know all of it. So today I'm wearing two hats. I'm speaking on behalf of Nnamdi Kanu. I'm also speaking on my own behalf. My name is EJIMAKOR. I'm the special counsel to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and the indigenous people of Biafra. And I'm speaking to you from a location in Nigeria. The man, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, is well known. He's everywhere. He's on Wikipedia. He's an internationally acclaimed freedom fighter. But there's just a few things I need to tell you about him. What brought him to limelight was the formation of the indigenous people of Biafra in the United Kingdom in 2012. Simultaneously, he also founded Radio Biafra. And these two organizations were aimed at one thing: liberation for the people of Biafra, or restoration of the former Republic of Biafra that went defunct in 1970. The right to self-determination is a right that is guaranteed internationally, domestically, and continentally. It's within the black letters of Nigerian law at Article 20 of the African Charter on Human and People's Rights. The right to self-determination is guaranteed. So the formation of IPOB did not break any law. Not laws of United Kingdom, not international law, not Nigerian law. But guess what? When Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, who was born in Nigeria, but who acquired British citizenship later on, came to Nigeria in October 2015, the government of President Muhammadu Buhari, which had come to power in May, decided to arrest him. He was not arrested between 2012 and 2015 because the government of the day at that time understood that self-determination is not a crime. But the government that came into power in 2015 in May decided that self-determination is going to be treated as a criminal activity. So he was arrested in Lagos. He was charged for treason, also for insulting the president and illegal importation of ready equipment. 3 charges. The treason one, they split it into 2, treason by himself and treason by conspiracy. This thing went on from 2015 until April 2017, when he was eventually granted bail. So he was detained for nearly 18 months. After granting him bail, he returned to his ancestral home in the southeastern part of Nigeria, and he was enjoying his bail when suddenly, between 10 September and 14 September 2017, the Nigerian army, without any justification whatsoever, levied lethal, massive military operations against Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's ancestral home. That day, he was sitting at home with so many people, his family members, including his 2 elderly parents. The attack was lightning, it was a bleakridge, it was massive, and it was not the type of an attack you will expect a national military force to levy on a civilian location. But they did. At the end of the day, 28 people lost their lives. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu sustained injuries. His parents sustained injuries as well, but somehow, by the grace of God, they all managed to escape. From there, the rest is history. And because there was a national and international manhunt for him by the security forces, which rules of engagement was to shoot, not to maim. If you see Nnamdi Kanu, if you encounter him anywhere, shoot not to maim. Not to maim, but shoot to kill. That's what they went there to do on 10 September, but they didn't succeed. But it went on. They went on in a manhunt. So Nnamdi Kanu was forced to flee the municipal boundaries of Nigeria in search of safe haven overseas. Eventually, in May 2021, he settled in Kenya. He entered Nairobi and settled in Kenya somewhere. He never knew that Nigerian security forces, the international branch of it, were laying in wait for him. They laid an ambush for him. So on 19th June 2021, he drove himself to Jomo Kenyatta International Airport on a personal errand. As soon as he drove into the parking lot and alighted from his vehicle, several well-armed security men suspected to be of a mixture of Nigerian and Kenyan security forces swooped on him, grabbed him, abducted him, and put him forcibly in a vehicle and drove away. Well, they didn't take him to the police station. They didn't take him to immigration because he was a foreigner. He should have been taken to immigration. They didn't take him to any official law enforcement facility. They took him to a secret location in Nairobi, a non-official secret location. So in effect, they disappeared him. And they kept him at that secret location for a whole 8 days. And those 8 days he endured horrendous torture. All these are matters of record between the various tribunals and courts before whom this matter has been brought. I cannot begin to give you all the details. Horrendous torture in violation of basic human rights, in violation of the laws of Kenya, Nigeria, and the international community. When Nnamdi Kanu was abducted on 19th June 2021, the proper thing that should have been done is to take him to a police station, from there to a court. And then if you wanted him back in Nigeria, you subject him to what is called extradition proceedings. This is a basic tenet of the law that you see in the laws of any nation. Kenya has an extradition act to which Mazi Nnamdi Kanu should have been subjected. But guess what? They didn't do that. They rather disappeared him for 8 days, tortured him to their heart's content. And on 27th June, they secretly brought him out from this location and took him through the back doors, evading Kenyan immigration, direct to the tarmac of Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, Nairobi, where a private plane was waiting. They bundled him into the plane, chained him to the chair, and everything. He endured 5-6 hours flight from Nairobi to Kenya in the most excruciating circumstances. They arrived in Nigeria late in the evening, and the plane flew back to Nairobi. They took him to the headquarters of the National Intelligence Agency in Abuja, where he spent the first night with all the lights left on to assure his maximum discomfort. The following day, they transferred him to the headquarters of Directorate of State Security in Abuja. And on the third day, they brought him before the Federal High Court in Abuja. The Federal High Court was well aware that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has counsel of record. It was an open case, it wasn't a new case, a pre-existing case. But the Federal High Court decided to conduct the arraignment in violation of his constitutional right to counsel, and that arraignment led to the indefinite detention with which we are struggling today. Anyways, taking you back a few steps, the little military invasion of 2017 was not unrequited, judicially speaking. I took the matter before two tribunals, or a tribunal and a court. First, I took it to the African Commission on Human and People's Rights, which rendered a decision in March 2018 condemning the action and calling it a violation of the African Charter. And they wrote to the President of Nigeria, they wrote a letter to the President of Nigeria requesting him or directing him. They used diplomatic language, but the decision was there that what you did is wrong, so you need to roll it back. You need to reverse everything you have done, which includes declaration of IPOB as a terrorist organization and hounding their members as criminals. The African Commission held that what Nigerian government was doing was persecution, not prosecution. That the IPOB and its members simply possess an inconvenient political opinion which the Nigerian government was seeking to suppress by means of punishment of some sort. And they asked or directed Nigerian government to reverse itself. Nigerian government never did. Rather, it escalated. Well, subsequently, I went to a local court, a high court in Abia State in eastern Nigeria. I sued the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the Nigerian Army, and other parties who were confederates in that attack of September 2017. And in January 2022, fortunately for us, we won. The High Court made an order. The High Court reached a judgment that what happened to Nnamdi Kanu in September 2017 was a flagrant violation of his constitutional right to life and constitutional right to his privacy. And the court proceeded to make an order ordering the federal government of Nigeria or Federal Republic of Nigeria to pay him a compensation of 1 billion Nigerian naira, which is over $1 million US. The court also ordered the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the President of Nigeria to issue a public apology to be published in 3 national Nigerian newspapers to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. None of this has happened. So we kept that aside. So when they brought Mazi Nnamdi Kanu forcibly from Kenya without extradition proceedings, I characterized it an act of extraordinary rendition. Initially, there was a misunderstanding, a broad, widespread misunderstanding by vast majorities of Nigerians who were mouthing the cliche, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu extradited from Kenya. No, that was wrong. He wasn't. I told people he wasn't. He was extraordinarily renditioned or rendered, and that is against international law, Kenyan law, and laws of the Federation of Nigeria. So while his criminal trial was making its way slowly at Abuja, with all the several amendments the government was bringing, they walked away from treasonable felony, insulting the president, importation of radio equipment, and bam, to terrorism. That's how it happened, and they did this 7 times, 7 amendments. If Nnamdi Kanu was guilty, why is it taking so long to bring him to trial between 2015 and today? So what he's undergoing is not really a judicial trial. It's a trial by ordeal, trial by fire, imprisonment before conviction. They just want to get as many years of jail time out of him as possible, because they know that with the evidence available, conviction will be impossible. And that was made worse by the extraordinary rendition, which I took also as a civil violation to a federal high court in Nigeria. And in October 2022, the Federal High Court came down with a judgment that extraordinary rendition was a violation of his constitutional rights, his fundamental rights, and they awarded him 500 million Nigerian naira. That's about $800,000. So all around, everywhere that this matter has gone to, including in July 2022, before the Human Rights Council at the United Nations. The Human Rights Council, United Nations, came down with an opinion that what happened to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in Kenya and that brought him to Nigeria is a very grave violation of international law. And they directed that he should be released unconditionally. And of course, the Court of Appeal in Nigeria did come down with a similar judgment in same October 2022, discharging Mazi Nnamdi Kanu of all charges and bearing any further trial of his person in any court in Nigeria as a consequence, as a direct consequence of the extraordinary rendition. So what more can you ask for a man to deserve his freedom? How many have I counted? United Nations, which in this case should be considered a world court. Then you have the Nigerian Court of Appeal, which is the second highest court in the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Then you have the Federal High Court, which is the court of first instance at the federal level. And of course, you have the State High Court that awarded him 1 billion Nigerian naira. So between 2015 and today, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has snagged 4 major victories against the Federal Republic of Nigeria, with Federal Republic of Nigeria winning nothing. What more do you need as stark evidence, affirmative evidence that what is happening here, ladies and gentlemen, is an act of persecution, not prosecution? It's time to end it. On his behalf, I will ask all men and women of goodwill everywhere in the world to speak up. There was this saying about Jews. When they came for the Jew, you said nothing. When they came for the Jew, you said nothing because you're a trade unionist. Then when they came for the trade unionist, you said, well, I'm a scientist. You said nothing. They took the Jew, they took the trade unionist. And then when they came for the scientist, nobody spoke for you. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is a poster boy for all the injustices that a great race, the Igbo people, and their cousins in the former eastern Nigeria have been subjected to since the founding of Nigeria. These injustices became more public because since 2015 they have been escalated. So how do you fight back? You fight back by telling the system, I want out. I want my own country is not a crime. It does not require a bullet. It doesn't require muscular military law enforcement. What it requires is sitting across the table and talking about it. A lot of nations have been founded on referendum. That's what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and the indigenous people of Biafra were asking for. That led to all this conundrum, to all this saga. So, ladies and gentlemen, I salute you. I'm grateful that you gathered here today. You responded to the clarion call by the Nwankwo, Ben, and Evan, the ambassadors for self-determination, the sons and daughters of Biafra, and the friends of Biafra. For those of you amongst us who are not Biafrans, I thank you profusely, and I ask you to, when you leave Washington Press Club today, I want you to speak up for Biafrans, speak against their persecution, speak up for the unconditional release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and may God bless you for that.
Very well then. Watching that clip now, you just finished watch. I don't know whether you people noticed something. That thing is what let me just play the area because I just pause it on my other phone. Let me play the area. I noticed something Aloy EJIMAKOR said. You see, each time I said Aloy EJIMAKOR is not pure, please don't argue with me. In this clip, let us just listen to it. Then we discuss more. But I want you to hear it. Maybe you didn't witness or you didn't notice what he said. Maybe you are eager to hear other things he's saying. That is why he didn't take precaution of this word. Let me play it for you. And then just listen very attentively.
Wikipedia is an internationally acclaimed freedom fighter. But there's just a few things.
Wait, please. He's talking about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu.
Right to self-determination and the persecution that is being levied against Christians in Nigeria in this current era. Ben and Evans, I thank you, and I thank all those who are behind you, seen and unseen, and your professional crew and all that, and so many other people that I really do not want to mention here. So having said that, I would not burden you with slogans or sloganeering. I will not tell you what you know already. I will tell you what you don't know. Or what you know but you don't know all of it. So today I'm wearing two hats. I'm speaking on behalf of Nnamdi Kanu. I'm also speaking on my own behalf. My name is Aloy EJIMAKOR. I'm the special counsel to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and the indigenous people of Biafra. and I'm speaking to you from a location in Nigeria. The man, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, is well known. He's everywhere. He's on Wikipedia. He's an internationally acclaimed freedom fighter. But there's just a few things I need.
He is an internationally acclaimed freedom fighter. Wow. Interesting. He is an internationally acclaimed. Even the ZUU always use that word. Self-acclaimed freedom fighter. Self-acclaimed leader of indigenous people of Biafra. He failed to use one thing, just like the language the ZUU have been using. Self-acclaimed leader of the prescribed indigenous people of Biafra. EJIMAKOR is not pure. Yes, in as much as he is trying to expose the evil plans. This one is global evil plans. Yeah? He exposes the global plot against Nnamdi Kanu. In quote, acclaimed international freedom fighter. In other words, he have already borrowed that word from the ZUU. Acclaimed. When you say somebody acclaimed, that means you didn't believe that that person is a freedom fighter. Maybe the person is just giving himself that glory and that title. Maybe I might be right or I might be wrong on my own explanation or analytics. But if I'm wrong, please correct me at the comment section. What does it mean by acclaimed? If I come out now and said, I am self-acclaimed leader of Biafrans in the country where I am living, I am giving myself that glory. In fact, I am forcing myself for the people to accept me. That is what I understand by the word acclaimed. Underline that word. Just say a second. Acclaimed. Yes, I might come out now and say, I am acclaimed the leader of Biafrans in Southeast Asia. Whereas I am not. And people also can testify to that this guy is not. You, EJIMAKOR, have been fighting for Biafrans for how many years as a lawyer? Whether as a special counsel, or as an esquire, or as a charge and bail lawyer. In 2025, you, Aloy, uses the word acclaimed. What does it mean? Are you giving the whole world, the globe, the impression that Nnamdi Kanu is not the leader of Biafra, or rather not the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, but he acclaimed, in fact, he enforced that position on himself for people to. If you go to the Biafra land and mention Nnamdi Kanu in every village, if 95% of that village will not come out and tell you we love him, then he is self-acclaimed. If you go to the Biafra land, you go to any state and say Nnamdi Kanu is even more popular than our so-called political idiots in the southeast. Nnamdi Kanu is more popular than all of them. As long as this world is concerned, I'm not talking about Nigeria. Nigeria is just a my case. As long as this world is concerned, know anywhere you enter and ask who is Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, that will not tell you they know him. But all these governors, once they cross from this ZUU called Nigeria, they become irrelevant. That was why you see them when they go outside, they never use any security. They never use any security because nobody knows them. It's only the people, maybe like Nigerians or the ones from the Biafra land that are living there. When they saw them and say, this is our governor. If he's doing well, they will applaud him. If he's not doing well, they will throw him stones. In as much as we are trying to applaud EJIMAKOR for this exposition, yes, I enjoyed everything he says on this video he just finished watch. But where I have problem with him is that word, acclaimed international freedom fighter. In other words, he never believed that Nnamdi Kanu is a freedom fighter. In other words, you are even going to court, you never even believe on what you are fighting. Then what is the need? I saw this video in 2 or 3 channels already, even before I decided to say, let me say something about it. I decided this morning, just let me listen to that video, know exactly whether it is current video or old video, and I found out that it's a current video. And people who have posted it have gone to their comment section. I didn't see anybody, even the people who are analyzing this video, I didn't see any of them who captured that word, acclaimed. What are we doing? Are we just focusing on anything they just said? Oh, you just bring it to the general public. He is now exposing the evil plot, global plot against Nnamdi Kanu, blah, 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 la, na, 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 na. Hey, whoa. Now, so we go make progress? No. When you're listening to messages of somebody, you listen to it line by line. See, that's the more reason why I always like to listen to this guy called a very dark man. Even I don't love him. Even I don't even like him. But I like to listen to him because the wisdom the guy carries, it depends on how you want to understand his message. It depends on how you want to see it. But the wisdom is far, far, far better than any other person. Even the so-called Arise news analyst of Rufai, combined with Ojiogbe, Mayo, and Rufai, Abati. This guy's wisdom is far. Everybody listened to what Musa said, and everybody was clapping at him when he was dissecting about the Benue killings. But nobody noticed that word he used, that word that I underlined, in my own point of view. In other words, that in my own point of view have already, in fact, it has already made the whole world to understand, the people who knows what that word means, to know that this guy knows the killers. These guys know what's happening in Benue State. He didn't say from the information we gathered, from the intelligence we gathered from our investigation, look at what is causing this fight. Look at what is causing these killings. And in the same time, he also shot himself in the leg. Nobody analyzed it. He said it is what they call it, a clash between indigenes and, in bracket, non-indigenes. So you are telling me now that it is a clash between farmers and herders. Then the farmers are indigenes and herders are non-indigenes. And then you came from all, very, very, how many thousands miles away to come to my own land. Then we are having clash. You are with an AK-47 and I'm with my hoe and my cutlass. Nobody captured that word. Only very dark man be able to capture that word and underline it. You may not like him. Yes, you may not like the way he do his own things. But I can tell you for free of charge that guy's IQ is 1,000,000% times 1,000,000%. As long as analyzing things and capturing where it matters most. Very dark man is number one. He's even more than Shehu of channel televisions, which everybody is respecting, that have won so many awards in terms of his journalism. But very dark man, my dear, fear that guy. Fear that guy. And that was why most of the radio stations or TV stations, they can't align with him because he is overshadowing them. He is doing even the work that they have been doing for many years, more than them. In their own field, very dark man will go there and even lecture them. So, you that have watched this video and you saw what EJIMAKOR said, acclaimed international freedom fighter. Acclaimed, please underline that word. Go to your dictionary or you can ask Google, what does it mean? I never asked Google, but at least from my own small education where I gather, I know say when you say self-acclaimed, okay, just like they always use against Simon Ekpa, self-acclaimed Biafra Prime Minister. That means he's imposing himself as a Prime Minister. But he was being elected and chosen by the Biafrans, or rather by the cabinet of Biafrans, because the cabinet represents the people. Just like the same way the Senate, we go and said, okay, we have chosen Akpabio, we do election, and Akpabio now is our Senate president. So all the whole senators, they are representative of their own people. In other words, if you vote Akpabio, automatically your own constituents have already voted for Akpabio, whether your consent is being taken or not. So if you say somebody is self-acclaimed, it means that the person is imposing himself on the people. But you cannot come out and tell me now that Akpabio is self-acclaimed Senate president because to you now, he was elected by the House. Abi? Yes. But you can use self-acclaimed prime minister. In other words, he was imposing himself as a prime minister or he was addressing himself as a prime minister even when he is not. So you are coming now to tell us that Nnamdi Kanu is self-acclaimed international freedom fighter. In other words, you are going to court to fight for somebody you didn't even believe, and you claim to be a Biafran lawyer. There's more to this. There is more to this. And I would like everybody who watched this video, if you didn't comment on this video, my brother, I will have problem with you. Most of us here are educated, and some of us are also educated illiterates. But I would like you to just exhibit that your education at the comment section of this video. What do you think? Do you think Aloy EJIMAKOR is with us, or do you think he's against us? Do you think that word he used is proper, or do you think that word is never good for him to be used on a person like Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, whom the 85 to 90% of Biafrans are loyal to? They are loyal to him. Loyal. When I mean loyal to the core. That Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, they value Mazi Nnamdi Kanu even more than their state governors. If Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, not minding what Alex Oti have been doing in Abia State, if two of them appear now and say, okay, let us vote. My brother, Nnamdi Kanu is going to knock Alex Oti hands down. Believe it or leave it. If there is any election now between Nnamdi Kanu and Alex Oti as one of the best governors the Southeast and also Abia State have produced, they stay in line with Nnamdi Kanu, Alex Oti won't even get 15 or 20% of the vote. The whole votes will go to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. For you to know how important this guy is in the lives of every Biafran out there. And you are coming out to tell us, a Biafran lawyer, no, you are not even an outsider, you're also within that same territory. He said he himself acclaimed the international freedom fighter. Well, I have nothing more to say, but I would like us to just analyze more of these videos at the comment section of this my video. Let us hear your opinions. Do you agree with me, or do you totally agree with our lawyer that Nnamdi Kanu is acclaimed international freedom fighter? If that is your own opinion, then so be it. If that is not your opinion, my brother, coagulate your own at the comment section. I would like to hear from you, and I also like to read from you. In fact, let us argue more at the comment section. Have a nice day, and may good Lord continue to bless us. As always, I still remain your one and the only Okurora, the update king. You get the point? You get the point now? I am the update king, the king of update, as always. So have a nice day. Happy Wednesday. May the good Lord continue to bless us all, the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Kachineke mezioku. Anam Kemesiano. Hey, I laugh in Spanish. Aloy, you have looked for my trouble. You are going to get it in a few days.